I'm especially pleased, I know the President-elect is especially pleased, that we're wrapping up this transition on schedule and under budget. We will actually return some 20% of taxpayer funding back to the U.S. Treasury, and that is just exactly in keeping with the President-elect's expectations going forward. He is a businessman that knows how to sharpen his pencil, and I'm very pleased to report today that we were able to do that and restore those dollars to the Treasury.
All right, that was Vice President-elect Mike Pence earlier today speaking with reporters about the success of President-elect Trump and his transition on schedule, under budget. We could use more of that. And earlier this week, the Washington Examiner reported that Trump is looking to cut federal spending. The report reads, quote, in part, insiders said that spending reductions in some departments could go as high as 10% and staff cuts to 20%. Numbers that would rock Washington if he follows through. And in a brand new Fox News poll just released earlier this evening, 66% say they feel optimistic about the U.S. economy. Last year, only 49% of Americans felt that way. Here now, with reaction, the special assistant to the President-elect, Boris Epshteyn, is with us, and the assistant to the President-elect, soon to be the director of the Office of Public Liaison, also a good friend of mine, he won't admit it, Anthony Scaramucci.
Hey, you're the best. What do you mean? Yeah. You're one of my best friends.
You know, I know this may sound crazy, but on time, under budget. Wow. Washington? Is this right?
That's what it's all about.
He's the man, and he's very focused, very disciplined. He's almost like the project manager in chief, right?
True.
Boris? I mean,
Absolutely.
He just lays it out. He tells you what to do.
Why is there this, you know, I was watching on a couple of things as we led up to tomorrow's events tonight, and Paul Ryan said, well, we'll repeal it, and within the next year we'll replace it. Trump came in and said, no, we're going to repeal and replace. Then Republicans were talking about earmarks coming back, and then they were talking about $9.7 trillion increase in the debt over the next 10 years. Donald Trump's talking about a 10% reduction in spending. He's talking about, you know, eliminating baseline budgeting. He's talking about a 20% reduction in an overbloated bureaucracy workforce.
Well, you know, Sean, my experience for the last 2 months here with the inaugural committee, here's what I'll tell you. There's such an outpouring of support from across the country, and it is because of that difference from Donald Trump when compared to other politicians, with all due respect, right?
Yeah.
And now the Trump movement is fully coming in Washington, D.C., and it's uniting America behind it and saying things are not going to be the same as they were. We are going to be playing by different rules.
But you could see, Anthony, you and I have talked the economy a lot, and I know how good a businessman you are and have been and the success track record you have. Isn't it pretty simple? You repatriate multinational corporation money at 10%. You lower the corporate rate to 15. Go from there. Why is this a good thing?
I don't want to overstate the simplicity, but it is simple, but you got to deal with the hill, and so you know there's going to be a little bit of a grind there. But what he's focused on, and what I love about him, is the revenue side of the equation. We have so much energy, Sean, under the ground. We're going to be a net exporter of energy, a result of which you're going to start to see us defease down some of these long-term liabilities that we have. So he's a disruptive entrepreneur at the top of the food chain of the American government and looking at it totally differently than anyone else ever before.
So let's put these together. So repatriated trillions at 10%, a low rate. That's
regulation cutback, rollback.
Regulation, 15% corporate tax rate. Then we have energy independence, all of the above.
Down to 4 rates on the individual income tax.
I thought it was 7 to 3.
Or 7 to 3. I'm sorry,
right?
7 to 3, and then.
Well, it's 0, 12, 25, 33. Zero's a rate too.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going down.
I always use 0, but it doesn't matter. The point is that you have simplification, which you and I know, 76,000 pages of code. CEOs are more focused on avoiding taxes than they are on making stuff. It took Reagan 2
years, 2.5 years to see the real impact of his policies. Yeah. Is it going to be a 2.5-year wait?
No, it's going to be a much shorter wait. Much shorter.
It's already happening. Look at the psychology. Look at this consumer confidence. Look at the stock market. America's open for business, Sean. He's there at the top of the food chain, letting people know that. Look at all the job announcements he's made while before he was president. Look at what he's done.
Carrier, GM, Ford. Fiat Chrysler. What else?
OneWeb, Sprint.
Right.
And then on the international arena, too, right, you have to talk about the resolution in Israel, China. Yeah. It's across the board. It's such an unusual transition.
One of his legacies is going to be this transition, Sean. Honest to God. On time, under budget, announcing jobs, and a resurgence in manufacturing in America.
Do you think we have 95 million Americans out of the labor force? How many of those Americans in 4 years can we get back to work?
Well, listen, I haven't done the calculation, but let's go where the U6 number is right now, which is about 9.6%. That's where Reagan had a full-blown depression and recession in 1982. If we can get that down to 7.2%, I can do that math for you. Maybe it's 17 million jobs. We have a home run. He'll get resoundingly reelected. So we'll see.
Hey, guys, first of all, congratulations to both.
This guy's done an amazing job, though, by the way. I mean, this is
both of you guys have.
Amazing job. And by the way, when he asks me for tickets, I have to call him. I just want to make sure you know
That's
that.
okay. Doesn't mean
Did I ever ask for anything for myself? No, nothing.
Just letting you know.
No more calls, though, please. No more calls.
When I did mention on the air that you were in charge of tickets.
You buried me. You buried me.
I buried you.
You know how many favors I owe this guy as a result of you? I can't even add them up now.
I did it on national TV.
Thank you, Boris.
That was probably not my best move in life. So
You buried him.
getting him angry is not good.